Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Red Ninja, and I'm gonna bring you another video. I'm gonna go over, my top 5 things that pro players do, plus include a bunch of tips because the top 5 things are just, there's pretty much just the outline of what makes a good zombie player or even a great zombie player. Um, Number one, I can't stress this enough. Pro players play fast. They're obsessed with speed. They want to get through the rounds as fast as they can. Um, in order to do that, it goes in the number 2. Pro players use the most powerful guns they can get their hands on. They use the wonder weapons. When you're playing fast, you got to be able to get rid of the zombies quickly and turn and be ready for the next zombies that are coming from the next spawn, from the next area, behind your back, wherever. You gotta watch all sides of you. So pro players test their theories. They don't believe a bunch of bullshit. A lot of these new players, they believe a lot of bullshit. They use their imaginations. They let their imaginations run wild when it comes to believing all kinds of bullshit. In order to prevent that, you have to test those theories, and if they're not true all the time, or you can't come up with a good explanation for why they're not true all the time, then they're just probably not true. Period. Anybody can shoot the box a couple times and spin around and spit in their hand and slap themselves in the face 2 times and then hit the box and get a thunder gun or a ray gun and say, that's how you get it every time. You got to test that. If it doesn't happen all the time, then or even 90% of the time, well, guess what? It's not true. Pro players have a strategy. They run a strat. They play by a strategy. Now, a lot of noobs, they play by a strategy too. The difference is pro players use a fast strategy. They use a strategy that's fast and effective, and I would say safe as well. If they know how to run it properly, it's safe. I think a lot of times when playing Ascension, a lot of random noob players, they like to run on the PhD stage platform, and they'll say, "Oh, let the white player run outside on the stage, and the other players can go inside that room where the PhD flopper machine, perk machine is, and cover that window." Now, yeah, that is a strategy. It's a very slow strategy. Okay, takes probably almost a minute, 45 seconds to a minute for your full horde to spawn out. So yeah, that's a strategy, but it's a very slow strategy. It's a very noob strategy, and it's going to take you a long time to really go through the rounds running that strategy. Even if you're using it, if you're the white player has a thunder gun in there, shooting out the whole horde the whole time, it's gonna take a long time. It's much better to run power would be the fastest, but that's a little more advanced. You got to know what you're doing, and the spawn room is it's very easy. I think the spawn room is very easy and is very fast. It takes under 20 seconds for your horde to spill out, so you could kill a horde in every 20 seconds, and in the first early 40, 45, even 50 rounds, you could spam your ammo. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm just talking about the differences between strategies that pro players play and new players play. They play a strategy as well sometimes. Sometimes, a lot of times when you get in these random lobbies, everybody just wants to run in their own area and run separately, and that's also very slow and newbie. But for those noobs that are a little more, I would say more intermediate level, Um, they run a strategy too. They just happen to run slower strategy. So pro players run a fast strategy. They run a fast strategy. They run a strategy that can get through the rounds fast. And again, number 5, pro players do their homework. They're constantly looking for better players, new ideas. They want to see a player, do something that's never been done before. They want to see a faster game. They want to see, something new. They're always doing their homework. I'm always looking for better players. I get stuck and say, well, geez, how can I get better? What can I do to get better? I may not be able to figure it out on my own. I'm probably not going to figure it out on my own. So it isn't until I've run across another guy that's just really come up with some new ideas or a whole new way of playing. I'm like, wow, I'm going to try this. So that's my secret to being, I've figured out very little on my own, to be honest with you. Now, that doesn't mean that other people don't figure things out. Obviously they do. Someone had to figure out, a lot of this stuff, and that's one of the things that some people that are in the pro zombie community sit around and think about things. They sit around and really ponder and meditate on this game, and just come up with ideas. I do the same thing sometimes. When you get to that certain level and you learn a bunch of stuff, you see someone do something, and you say, well, what if you tweak it this way or tweak it that way? I've laid in bed at night and kind of drifted off and thought, yeah, I'm gonna try this tomorrow, or maybe I might get excited and want to go out and try it right now. Yeah, I could see that happening to people that play this game or are really into it. So, number 1, pro players play fast. Pro players use powerful guns. Pro players test their theories. Pro players use a fast strategy. They have a fast strategy. And pro players do their homework. Okay? Constantly looking for ways to get better. Constantly looking for new players that, have done something, done a speed run faster. They want new ideas. So you got to do your homework. Constantly thinking about the game. So that's going to be that's pretty much the outline of how to be a good zombie player. Okay, you need to be thinking about those 5 steps. But is that all that there is to it? Obviously not. I mean, I can tell these 5 steps to someone, and yeah, I think it's gonna help them a lot. It's gonna get them definitely on the right track, but it's not all that they're gonna need. Okay, and I have a lot more to offer than that. Okay, but I can't stress those 5 things enough. You need those 5 things. You need to be thinking about playing fast, using weapons that are the most powerful that you can get your hands on. I mean, when you're playing like Keener de Toten or Ascension, only one person can have the Thunder Gun. So, anybody can have a ray gun, which, that's going to be your next step. You want that ray gun. Now, another thing pro players do is they know how to play safe. And that's something that I do. I know, and that's, I've always been a safe player even when I was a very newbie player. I've always done 0-down games very early on. Even when I was playing Keener de Toten, I was only able to run the stage and the lobby. Those were like the only 2 places I could run for a long time. But I knew how to run them safely, and I relied on either having a thunder gun or a crossbow. And, I still do that. I still need a weapon that's going to get me out of trouble. I need something powerful in case I do get cornered. I usually don't let myself get cornered, which, if you play like survival maps on BO2, you don't have these wonder weapons. So you can't let yourself get cornered. You got to know where to place yourself, at the right place at the right time. You have to be aware of zombies spawning, where they're spawning from, and when they're going to spawn from there. If you notice when I play, if you watch my gameplay, I know where zombies are coming from. I'm ready for them. I'm facing the direction they're coming from. I know where they're coming from. When they catch me off guard is when, I get hit in the back or something, and it's like, whoa, where did that guy come from? That happens. You got to be ready for that. You got to, I a lot of times when I play a game, I don't expect to, I get that unexpected zombie or two, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that. But most of the time, 95% of the time, I know where to expect zombies to come from. I know where they're coming from, and I'm ready to deal with them. So let me get into some tips here. Some things. There's some basic tips that I think will help you. I believe in consistency, doing stuff consistent, and one of the things I think will help you is, this is what I do. I sit in a chair. You could get a gaming chair or an office chair, any kind of chair. It could be, comfort helps too. I'd say gaming chairs are really good, but you should sit in front of your TV at eye level, and I'd say about 5 feet from your TV. I mean, I have a 42 inch TV, so I mean, if you have like a 40 to 50 inch TV, you want to be back far enough to where you'll be able to see the whole screen, where you're not turning your head. The bigger the TV, I'd say you'd have to be back a little bit further, but for me, I sit about 5 feet from my TV. I look at my TV from eye level. I'm not looking down at it. I'm not looking up. It's straight at eye level. And, if you're a PC player, I think that's how you'd be playing. You'd be in front of your PC monitor. Most people probably have about between a 22, 24 inch monitor, maybe even a 30 inch monitor. That would be awesome. I have a PC. I have like a 24 inch monitor, but it's besides the point. I don't play PC zombies, but I think part of the thing that helps is being straight on. Looking at a screen at eye level, being in front of you, you're looking straight on. You're not at an angle. Because I've always found if I sit on the floor, or if I sit back on, if I'm at someone's house, I sit back on a couch or something. It's not the same. I mean, you want to get yourself adjusted in the same position, and that way you're used to that. If you're used to sitting, if sitting on the floor, if that's all you've ever done and that's what you're used to, that's great. I mean, that's fine. I guess that will work for you, because you're used to that. You're used to looking at the TV from that angle and from that distance, if that makes sense to you. So I think that's going to help you a lot. Another thing I think it'll help you a lot is to use the same controller. Have you ever gotten a new controller and it seems like the sensitivity is off for you and your aim's off and it just feels weird? That happens to me all the time. I have multiple controllers, and I have to get used to those controllers, because even though they're the same type of controller, it may be an official Xbox controller, it's still different. Or if I go to PlayStation 3 or any other Xbox One, it's a different controller. I mean, the Xbox One and 360 are very similar, but there's still differences. And I think it's best to use the same controller. That's why for one of the things I got was something called a Cronus Max. It's a little USB looking thing, and it lets you use any controller on any system. So if I go to play on PS3, which I have a PS3, or I've never used it on Xbox One, but I'm pretty sure it could. You could use any controller you want on any system. So I'm used to using a 360 controller, so when I go to play on PS3, I use a 360 controller on the PS3. That's something you could look into getting. I think they cost about, I don't remember what it was. They're not that cheap. They're about $50, $60 for a Cronus Max. One of my friends actually told me about it. I have a friend that plays on PS3, and he told me about it, because I was like, man, it's really messing me up to go. I told him, I said, before I play with you on PS3, I'm gonna need to practice some solo and do some speed runs and stuff, and get used to the uh, PS3 controller, and yeah, after a few games I can get used to the PS3 controller, but then when I go back to the Xbox 360, then it's like, now this feels weird. So it really helps to use the same thing all the time. Get yourself, used to doing the same thing all the time. That's what Zombies is about. Zombies is very repetitive, and you want to be in front of your TV from the same distance, same angle. Like I said, I think the best place to be is to be looking at your TV straight on and be far enough to where you can see where you can see the whole screen. A lot of people have said throughout the years, I've heard it many times that I don't like small TVs, but a lot of people have said, like, when you play multiplayer in games like that, any kind of FPS game, it's best to have like a 24-inch TV, maybe even a 19-inch TV, something small. And I guess that's probably so your peripheral vision can pick up everything. You're able to see things better. And if you're close and in front of it, you have a good field of vision. So those are just a couple tips there. Another tip I'm going to give you, number 3, would be you need to learn to play on 10 sensitivity. You need to learn how to play on, at least on Black Ops, other sensitivities like on BO2, and I don't even want to say BO3, but I know that goes up higher too, but I wouldn't recommend playing BO3 at all if you want to be good at all the other zombie games like BO1, BO2, World at War. If you want to be good at I wouldn't play BO3. That's my opinion, but you need to learn to play on the highest sensitivity. Now, for a long time, I used to play on sensitivity 6 on Black Ops 1 for about a couple years. My first couple years, I played on 6. My first couple years of playing zombies, and I did quite well on it. I did a lot of stuff that I do now, but I'm so much better now that I play on 10. Okay. I know you've probably heard these videos before that sensitivity is just it depends on the person, depends on their personal preference, but this is zombies. If you want to be a fast player, you need to be able to turn fast. You want to be able to really hoard up and train up zombies well, you have to be able to turn fast. You have to be able to move fast. Okay? So you have to gradually work yourself up to the highest sensitivity. I would go up to a higher sensitivity if it went beyond 10 on BO1, to be honest with you. The faster the better. And there's another little trick, another little secret I'm going to give you. Another thing I use, I don't use any fancy controllers. I don't use a scuff controller. I don't use a modded controller. The only thing that I do use is I use something called Control Freaks. They snap on your thumbsticks, and they make them about an inch longer. You can get those at like GameStop, probably Walmart, but you definitely find them at GameStop. You get them, if you want to get them online, you could get them on Amazon. But look for them. They're spelled with a K, KONTROLFREEKS. Control Freaks. Okay, they're only about between $10 to $15. Usually maybe pay about $13 for them, probably maybe $12.99, $13. They're not much. They're definitely cheaper than a Cronus Max, but they're gonna help you with using higher sensitivity. They're gonna make those thumbsticks longer. Now they're also gonna help with your aim and your accuracy. That's pretty much what they're for. But they're gonna feel weird at first when you get them. It's different. It's gonna feel weird. Like I can't not use them if my thumbsticks are shorter and I need them. If I can go to someone's house, I'm bringing a pair of Control Freaks with me to snap on their controller. I need that. That's what I'm used to using, and they've helped me out a lot. After you use them for about a week, you won't wanna not have them. So that's gonna help you play on a higher sensitivity. Just gradually go up to a higher sensitivity. If you're playing on 2 or 4 or 5, go up to 6, go up to 7, play for a little bit, go up to 8, go up to 9. Get yourself all the way to the highest sensitivity. Okay, once you get used to it, and Control Freaks will definitely give you the advantage and the edge on that. You'll learn how to, your thumbsticks are a little bit longer, so you'll learn when to hit the thumbstick all the way over or just a little bit over. It's where you don't move as fast. You'll learn. It'll be a lot easier to control a higher sensitivity, but you definitely need to be able to move fast. You need to be able to turn fast. That's just the way it is. Another little tip that I'll give you is, if you notice, when I play, I jump around a lot. I 360 turn, I YY, I knife, I screen shake, I do all that stuff, even when there's no zombies. I believe that will really help you if you do that. You need to be able to move fast. You need to practice. You need to move around every area of the map. You got to know every area of the map, because there's something you ever get stuck on an area. I mean, sometimes that still happens to me, or I get stuck on a little, I don't know what the fuck I get stuck on, but you need to know every area of the map, every area of the room, so you know how to run it. Like in Kinototen, you can get stuck on that pad in the lobby when you're where you would link up the teleporter. So you got to know how to run around that, how to run over that, because when you're in a moment when you got zombies or dogs on you, that could really fuck you up and get you down. So you got to be aware of that area and where you get stuck and how you get stuck on it. So constantly jump around, 360, YY, knife, screen shake, because that's your skill. That's the only skill when it comes to things like strafe jumping and doing those kinds of fancy movements. That's the only skill in the game. Everything else is knowledge. Playing this game is like 90% just knowledge. You just have to know what to do and when to do it. That's all it is. It's just knowledge. So you wanna be a skillful player. You have to practice moving skillfully. Just constantly jump from angles to angles, do cutbacks, do 360 turns, because when you're going between zombies and you spin around or you turn sideways, you can get in between zombies when you're sideways. You're flatter. It's like it's the physics of this game. You're flatter. If you have to make a cut in between some zombies or something, and you want to do it, do a weird screen shake spin knife and do something fancy, and you'll get through those zombies without even taking a hit if you do things right and your timing's good. So get used to always moving fast. And I'm going to go into my 5th tip here, is always have a light weapon. You could always move faster with a light weapon. I don't know if you notice, if you've been paying attention, I always make sure that I have a light weapon. I would never recommend running with 2 heavy guns. Okay? Good thing is about like wonder weapons like Thunder Gun and Ray Gun and wall guns. Wall guns are light weapons, or having, the double pistols, just the regular double CZs or something. A lot of people use that, or the ballistic knife. Ballistic knife lets you move really fast and quick. Now you can't always kill with that weapon, so a lot of people don't like to use that. But if they're playing like high rounds on, say, a map like Verrückt, having a ballistic knife or the double CZs is definitely a must, because you want to be able to move very quickly and effectively and efficiently through that map, because you don't have the wonder weapons. You need to be able to train those zombies and not get cornered. You got to be able to move fast, so always have a light weapon. And if you really insist on having like an HK and an RPK, or that just happens if you have a Galil and an HK, get claymores and hold a claymore in your hand when you're trying to hoard up the zombies. But I definitely do not recommend that you ever have two heavy guns. I don't care if it's early on in the game. I mean, you should definitely never be running the game with those, a high round game with those guns anyway, because they don't kill. But if it's early on and you're trying to get a setup, I would definitely not want to have those two guns. I wouldn't want to have a Galil and an HK, or a Galil and an RPK in my hand, as in my arsenal, because those are two guns, and I can't move with those. I can't move as fast with those. So always have a light weapon. It's really, that's one of the things I love about like having the MPL or something. I mean, the MPL is such a light SMG. You could just cruise around the whole room with it. When I get the MPL and in Kingdom of Toten or something, I'm just flying around the map. I love that. That's very important to be able to have that light weapon. So always have a light weapon that you can move fast with. Number 6, know every area of the map well, so you do not get stuck, confused, etc. If you're playing Kingdom of Toten, and when I first started playing this game, I remember when the Nova Gas crawlers would explode in my face, and it would blind me and confuse and make me panic. And I remember like all the downs I used to get doing that, because they would go in the panic mode and I wouldn't know where I was at. When that happens to me, I don't even worry about it anymore. Very rarely do I worry about it, because I know the map so well that I can go through it blindly. As long as I knew where I was at when I got blinded, I know where I'm going. I saw what zombies were there or what weren't there, so I can move through that map, for that small period of time blinded, because I know the map well. I've run all over that map. I'm always constantly moving. Always constantly be moving when you're playing zombies. Do not sit still. Even when you're shooting, do not sit still. Constantly move. Know the map well. When you're playing and it's in between rounds, jump around, spin around. Don't sit still. Okay? Know that map, every corner, every area of that map well, so you know what you can get stuck on or what you can't get stuck on. Because when you're in a moment and you get stuck on some barrels or crates or whatever is there on the stage or something, and you got zombies, it's really, you go into that panic mode and you're like, oh shit, I'm stuck, what am I stuck on? Don't let that happen. You know the map very well, so you can wiggle out of it, get out of it somehow. 7, always use the most powerful guns you can get. Now, if you can't get the Thunder Gun, you want to get a ray gun, okay? And I would always recommend also having a safety gun, as well as, a gun that, like a crossbow or a ballistic knife. Something that is going to help get you out of a certain situation. Mustang and Sallies, if you learn how to use them, even without PhD flopper, if you got to learn to see a bad situation coming. If you have monkeys, when you use like these weapons like crossbow, monkeys, Mustang and Sally, you have to see ahead of time. You can't sit there, if you don't have PhD flopper, and you see 5 zombies coming, you don't think that you could just wiggle out of that. Okay, don't assume that. Spray them fucking Sallies before they get close to you and get them out of your way. Play safe. One of the best advice that I ever learned from another pro zombie player is, he said, whenever in doubt, use your Thunder Gun, use your Sallies, use your crossbow. Don't. Yeah, and this is the best advice that I have ever learned, and I could share, because I've watched a lot of pro players play high rounds, solo and co-op, and this is the one mistake. This is the reason pros take takedowns, is because they get cheap with their ammo. They don't want to waste the Thunder Gun on a couple zombies. They think, well, I've gotten out of it before, I could get out of it again, and that's what costs them. That's what gets them a down. and then they think, well, shit, all I would have had to do was use the thunder gun. I have almost full ammo in the fucking thing. Why didn't I just use it? You know? Don't hesitate when you see a situation coming. Don't assume that, you know, you can just get out of it. Wipe them zombies out. Get them out of your way. That's one of the best advice that I could give any player. And I'm telling you, if you watch a lot of these top players play and you see the downs that they do take in their solo games when they're playing the like 200 plus, they always take a newbie down because they're just trying to save ammo. They could have easily gotten out of that situation had they have just used the fucking weapon that they had. If they would have just used their wonder weapon. They would have just used the thunder gun. They would have just used the crossbow. They would have got out of it. So, like I said, number 7 is always use the most powerful guns you can get. You need, unless you're really real high round and you want to get points, you're not hitting the box to get points. You're using a wall weapon to get points. Okay, when you're playing high rounds and you're running, say, a trap strat, or, you know, if you're playing Keener de Toten high rounds and you're, you know, you want to get points to pay for those fire traps and those the trap outside in the theater, you know, you're using the MPL. You're using the wall weapon. That's what's going to get you the most points. That's what's going to build up your points. So really, all those guns in the box are completely useless. They're just there to help you get points until you're able to get your weapons like the ray gun, thunder gun, and, you know, anything, the monkeys, anything that's going to help you within the first, you know, your ray gun's going to help you, is going to be good probably like the first 50 rounds. After that, you know, Mustang and Sally and ray gun are pretty much useless. They're not really going to kill very well at those rounds. But when you're playing like survival maps like on BO2, like Town and Farm and Nuketown, you know, the ray guns, it's really all that you got. So, and if you're playing Call of the Dead by yourself, you know, the ray gun, scavenger, that's the only thing you really have. It's really just getting ray gun, recycling ray guns. Another tip I will give you, this is another thing that a lot of pros do, or most pros that I know do this, is they go in their settings, they disable aim assist, and they disable controller vibration, and they play on tactical. I always played on tactical because when I first started playing this game, I played multiplayer a little bit, and you know, I learned, someone taught me about doing drop shots, and so I always played on tactical. I would always play on tactical for zombies. It's a lot easier. I like to do a lot of PhD flops when I play Ascension, so playing on tactical is a must for me. Another tip I've always covered, that I already covered, as I said, use wall guns to build up points. When you're playing with randoms, instead of going for that box right away like all the noobs do, you should be using the wall guns and build up your points a little bit, and then go for the box. You very rarely do you see me go for the box when I'm playing with randoms, because in the first 20 rounds, you know, usually first 15, 20 rounds, because I'm gonna get screwed by the box unless I get lucky and get the ray gun right away, or get an HK that'll give me some, you know, a decent gun. A lot of times I'll get like a China Lake, I'll get a Lost Rocket, I'll get a ballistic knife, you know, something that isn't gonna help me. It isn't gonna give me any points. I'm gonna get screwed out of that box. So I've been there and done that too many times. So I use the wall guns. The wall guns are great in the beginning, and they're good to pack a punch in the first 20 rounds. They're really actually more powerful. Most of them are more powerful than most of the box guns. I mean, I think the only thing that can compete with an upgraded with like an upgraded AK-74U is probably an upgraded Galil. I'd rather have an upgraded AK-74U than an HK or an RPK, and I'm talking about early rounds. I don't like to use those guns really at all, but you know, when it comes to like early rounds, when you're talking like between 10 to 15, you know, I'll take the upgraded AK-74U or any kind of upgraded wall gun. Um, I use a lot of times I like using the upgraded AK-74U when I'm playing like Call of the Dead with randoms, because it's right outside the lighthouse. That's a great gun. I upgrade the guns when I play, like when I'm playing Derice. They're great. You put double tap on them, and they just they're powerful. You can play fast with them. The first 20 to 25 rounds, you can just really peel off the heads with them. They're great. And if you wanted to, you can get Mule Kick and get a couple of them, and upgrade them, and you got plenty of ammo. You'll get a max ammo, and you can really build up your points. And then when round 20 comes along, you'll have 20k to because I usually I don't have, like, if you're watching this game, I don't get a lot of points because I'm always buying that upgraded ammo. But like I said, if you get Mule Kick and you have 2 upgraded guns, I probably wouldn't have had to buy any upgraded ammo at all. I would have got a max ammo. It's probably what I should have done. I mean, I didn't really give a shit because I was only planning on going 20 rounds anyway. But like I said, if I was to get a Mule Kick and get a couple wall guns and have Sallies, I'd never have to buy any ammo, and I'd have a shit ton of points, shit ton of kills, and I'm still playing pretty quick, faster than everyone else. So use those wall guns to build up your points, and then when round 20 comes around, then you got more points than everyone else, and you can hit the box and get the good weapons. You get the ray gun, you get the WAF, you get the thunder gun, whatever you want to get out of that box, you can get. 10th tip I will give you is good players, all pro players play solo. Okay, that's one of my big secrets. Is you gotta play this. You gotta know how to play this game solo. Play solo zombies is going to be my 10th tip. And watch speed runs. Go on the Zombie Records and watch the top speed runs and learn how to play like that. I guarantee you, if you're able to do a decent speed run, if you're able to run Keener Toten around 50 and an hour and 20 or an hour and 25, I mean, that's decent time. That's not top time, but that's an hour, between an hour and 20 to hour and 25. That's decent. That's not great, but it's not it's not terrible. I mean, you got to take into consideration not every game is going to be a fast game. Sometimes you get a late setup, but most high round players run between those times. Most players that have 200 plus game solo, usually run the first 50 rounds, and between an hour and 20, hour and 25. You want to get to there. It doesn't matter how late you get your setup. If you're a good player, you should be able to run at those times. At least in Keener Toten. Other maps are different. So play solo zombies. That's what's gonna that's gonna help you a lot. Whenever I play a new map, I need to learn it solo. I cannot play a new map until I learn how to do like if it's a BO1 map, I got to do 100 rounds solo on it. I need to be able to then I'm ready to play. I could play with any randoms anytime, anywhere. And if I find that if I'm just not having a good day or I'm not doing well, I will go play 30 to 50 rounds solo game. I'll go do a speed run. I'll get off by myself and just do a solo game. And then that recharges me and gets me in the groove again. And then I can go play with some randoms, or I could go play with another partner and do a high round game or do a 50 plus round game. No problem. And that's why I play with this one guy. I was gonna play with this one guy. This one guy wanted to play with me, and he had some pretty decent rounds, and I think he wanted to play like Shangri-La and shit like that. And I said, well, before I play Shangri-La, I know the strat for playing Shangri-La, but I was like, I need to go play a solo game. I need to go run 30 to 50 rounds on that. And he thought that was funny. He thought it was I think he even thought it was stupid. But the thing is, I think he's stupid because a good player wants to succeed. A good player wants to be ready. I mean, it's called doing a warm up. Okay, when you exercise, smart people warm up before they exercise. That's how they prevent injuries. Okay, so I mean, it's some different when it's a zombie player. I mean, if someone needs a half an hour to go do a 30 rounds of speed run or something, need to get warmed up, or they need to get in a game with some randoms and do a little bit of warm up. I don't have a problem with that, especially if it's a map you haven't played in a while. You want to make sure you're not rusty on it. I mean, I want to be the best zombies partner I can be. I don't want to be feeling rusty and making some newbie mistakes. So that's just my thing, and I think a lot of other players would agree with that, but I don't know, that's just me. So those are those 10 tips that I gave you right there. Is always have a light weapon, or no, wait, sit in a chair 5 feet from your TV. I was getting a little ahead of myself because I got even more tips. Sit in a chair 5 feet from your TV at eye level. That's what I recommend. Use the same controller all the time. I use a wired controller. You notice my batteries never die. I never take it down due to my batteries dying because I always use a wired controller. And if you're going to be playing a high round game, you need a wired controller. You're going to be taking a sleeper. You can't switch controllers in the middle of a game. And if you want to use a wireless controller, then you need to get one of those adapters, one of those chargers that would charge your, and you could plug that in and out. But I really suggest, when you're playing zombies are long games. You don't want your batteries dying. Use a wired controller. And use the same controller. Make sure you're used to the same controller all the time. That way, you don't, not everything's off for you. 3, you got to learn to play on 10 sensitivity. Get yourself some control freaks and get used to it. Just gradually go up. But I don't care what anyone else says. You have to use 10. Most pros I know you play on 10. I mean, I don't know, but I play on 10, and I resisted playing on 10 for a long time. Like I said, first couple years I played on 6. But when I got to 10, I got a lot better. I would never go back. I mean, I had to learn how to play all over again. Especially, even my 360 revives are still off. I've never really learned how to do a good 360 revive again on 10 because I had it down so well on 6. My 360 revives were better. But going to solo with another controller and going to solo and practice. Practice on your split screen opponent, or practice on a friend. You can practice it. You'll get used to it again. And a 360. If you guys don't know what a 360 revive is, when you shift in the claw mode, use your index finger, you hold X to revive, and you use the thumbsticks, and you just spin around the opponent and spin around your down partner. Number 4 is jump around 360, YY, do a lot of YYs, jam on the YY, make sure you're moving fast, knife, turn sideways, knife a wall, going between zombies, screen shake, do all this stuff often even when there's no zombies. I get made fun of all the time by these random noobs for always jumping around and doing it there. They always ask me what the fuck I'm doing, and like I said, all they can do is poke fun. I don't really give a shit. But if you notice, that really works out really well for me when I have to train zombies. The zombies cannot fucking touch me. They're coming from every fucking angle and area, and they're just flying at me, and I'm just spinning around them and jumping and flying this way and cutting this way. practice that shit. That's the skill. Okay, that's the skill in this game. Always have a light weapon so you can move fast. Okay, know every area of the map well so you don't get stuck confused. Okay, always use the most powerful guns you can get. I can never stress that enough. If you want to be a fast runner, if fast player, a speed runner, you need to have the most powerful weapons. Disable aim assist, disable controller vibration, play on tactical. Use wall guns to build up points and play solo zombies. Okay. Now I'll get into some bonus tips really quick. We got some time here. Always, like I said, here's another bonus playing tip. Again, always use a light weapon or hold a claymore. You know, the key is to always move fast. Another bonus, these are actually bonus training tips that I'm going to be giving you right now. So yes, always having a light weapon, hold a claymore is essential and is the key to being good at training zombies. Another, number 2 for being good at training zombies is learn to run in small, tight spaces. Start off small and move your way out. A lot of people, when they train zombies, they just want to stay way the fuck away from the zombies, and they're running all over the fucking map. They run all over the area. They run way too big. Learn to run. When there's 2 zombies, you could run those in a small little corner. I mean, a small corner like the size of like your foot. And I'm talking about like the foot in the game, you know. You can just do a little circle with like 1 or 2 zombies easily, even 3 zombies. Start small in tight spaces, and then get bigger and make your circles and cuts bigger as more zombies come. Give the zombies time to catch up and come to you. Don't run all the way out to one end area of the room, and then, you know, that way then you got all these other zombies coming from you, and then you're running on a space. Okay? So learn to run in. That's one of the things playing first room really helps you be able to do. I would recommend if people start playing first room, you know, if that's what they want to do, try to do that. You really, in order to be successful at it, you have to run really small, tight spaces. You have to do that. So always start off small and move your way out. Number 3 for being able to run trains better and more efficiently is be aware of spawns and the direction zombies are coming from. Always know where how many spawns are in the room. That'll tell you exactly what you know, where the zombies are coming from. You're ready for them. Don't get snuck up on. You don't want to get hit in the back. Beware of where the zombies are spawning. When they're spawning out of one window, and then they're spawning out of another window, and then they spawn out of a third window, and then there's a 4th window, you know they're going to be coming out of that 4th window because they already came out of those other 3 windows. Okay? So be aware of where those zombies are spawning from. And then when you start killing zombies, then you got to be looking to those other windows again. Okay? You know, just be aware. Be aware, be aware, be aware. Number 4 tip for running trains better would be move fast, sprint a lot, but not too much. And also know when to run slow. If you notice, like, in my gameplay, sometimes, and maybe when you've played before, sometimes it's helpful to just slow down. I mean, I look at training zombies as pretty much stalling the zombies. You know, they're coming to you, so, you know when to move fast, and know when to walk, know when to run, and know when to sprint. But for the most part, you want to be sprinting a lot, but you don't want to run on a sprint. You know, if you have the stamina perk, that can help you a little bit, but you could still run on a sprint with that. So move fast, sprint a lot, not too much, and know when to move slow. Another tip for training zombies better is understand the color order and who is more magnetic. It goes in the order from white, blue, yellow, green. White is the most magnetic, blue is the second most, yellow is the third most, green is the least magnetic. Okay? If white player leaves the game or dies, blue player is the white player. If blue player leaves the game or dies with the white player, then yellow is the zombie magnet. If yellow, blue, and white all die or leave the, then guess what? Green's by himself. Well, he's the zombie magnet until they come back to life or whatever. So that's how it goes in the color order. You have to be aware of that, because when you're running in the same area with people, the white player is the only one that should be moving around. All the other colors can just go around the perimeters of the room. They scrape against the walls, and they don't have to worry about zombies really coming at them. Okay? All these noobs, they're always so worried when someone runs up in their area, because they don't know how, they don't understand the color order and who's more magnetic. Now, I understand when you got a new player and he's running in between all your shit, that's, you probably want to get out of there. But when I run up in your area, you shouldn't be worried about that. You shouldn't be worried one bit, because if you're white and I'm blue, and it's just you and me in the game, I'm not going to be disrupting your zombies. They're not going to be coming for me, because I'm going to be running around the walls of the map. Okay, the walls of that room, that area. I'm going to be running around the walls, and 1 or 2 zombies will be coming at me. And if they do come at me and I don't have any ammo, I'm going to run up to you real quick and get them to stick back on you. Okay, so you got to know, if you want to know how to run zombies really good, you got to understand that. Number 7, never hesitate to take out zombies fast when you see a bad situation coming. When you're training zombies up, and like I said, I already went over this, you see zombies coming at you from it, and you got a thunder gun, take them out. You got a crossbow and you see something coming, shoot that crossbow and shoot it at a good distance. Don't wait until they get it right up in your face to shoot it. Shoot it out, get them away from you. Then you'll be able to get your head together and know where your next move has got to be. Number 8, I would say always keep moving, never sit still. Always keep moving, never sit still. Just keep moving. Get yourself in, you're playing this game, unless you're taking a break, going to the bathroom or something, don't sit still. Move around, move around, move around. And my 9th tip for training better would be to always move while shooting. Okay? Don't sit there unless you're at a window, and even if you're at a window, I would still always move. I mean, you don't want to sit in the window and let them slap you through the window. Always move. Always be moving when you're shooting. When you're shooting a zombie, circle around them. Always stay moving. Do not be a sitting target. Someone sitting still is a sitting target. They're a sitting duck. Now, zombies don't have guns, but they have hands. Okay? Do not sit still. Okay? Don't sit still. This is going to be very difficult for these zombies to hit you when you're constantly moving. When you're constantly dipping in and out of them, from one side to the other. That's kind of like a dip in and out. You go from one side of the zombie to the other side. You kind of just go forward and back. Keep yourself moving. Circle around them and use the thumbsticks while you're shooting them, in the body or in the head. Always move while you shoot. When you play multiplayer, you always got to move when you shoot. You're a sitting target. It's going to be very difficult for someone to shoot you in multiplayer if you're moving, if you're strafing, if you're moving, if you're hip firing and you're moving fast to the side, you're doing like a circle and back, and you know what I mean. Number 10 is turn sideways, 360, 180, screen shake, YY, knife, dip in and out. These are all things that you should be doing all the time. All the time. Get fancy with it. It pays off. So those would be my 10 training tips. I can't really think anything else. I think the best thing that's going to help you to learn all the different, because I can't really explain all the different cutbacks, and you're going to get that by watching. So that just always goes back to watching the best players. Number 5, pro players do their homework. Get on Twitch, get on YouTube, find the best players you can possibly find. Go to zombierecords.com, find the top players, watch them. Watch their gameplay. Sit and watch them. Spend hours watching them. Okay? Spend at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour a day watching some zombies. Be a spectator. Watch. You'll learn a lot. Okay. So, we're coming almost to the end of this video. We're gonna go like 21 rounds on here. And these guys are down, and I haven't really been paying attention or talking about this gameplay, but it's just something to watch while I go over a lot of these tips. I get sick of playing with randoms when they get to where they're just running out of gas and they're just going to be going down, and I'm going to be carrying rounds. Plus, I only plan to go 20 rounds. We got dogs on, what was it, round 19, so I figured, well, okay, we might as well go one round. And there I screwed up that revive. I really hated that. I should have got that revive. That was just bad on my part. My revives can be good sometimes, and sometimes they just But I have some other 5 things that I could say that pro players do, and I'll go over them really fast, and I probably could talk about them more in another video. Is number 1, pro players move fast. Number 2, pro players have a plan. They follow a good strategy, a fast strategy. Number 3, pro players play fast and safe. It's not just about playing fast. You got to know what you can handle. Like I said, when I was only able to run the stage and the lobby and Kiener de Toten, I knew what I could handle. I knew I was a safe player. I definitely wasn't a fast player, but I knew how to play safe. You got to know when to play safe. And when you're a fast player, you got to know how to play fast and play safe. Pro players play solo, not just co-op. I know every pro player that I know plays solo. Is a solo player as well as co-op player. Pro players challenge themselves. They play out of their comfort zone. They do first rooms. They do no power. They do no jug, when they play solo or whatever. They do new things. They run room challenges. Try to do 20 or 30 rounds in every area of the map. Just stay in one area and don't leave that room. Challenge yourself. Play outside your comfort zone. Learn how to do it. That way you can do it safely. So that's about it for this game, and I hope these were a lot of tips for you. And I think about I know I got a lot more tips, but when I think about them, I'll do some more videos, and I'll cover these tips again in another video. I'll talk more about this kind of stuff. But I think a lot of this stuff, and you learn to apply it and you digest it, it's really going to change your game. Peace out.